part to less. Oh, cancel. Are we back? Are we? Are we? I mean, it looks like it. Oh, we are back. Are we? Oh shit. I mean, it looks like it. Oh, we are back. Are we? Oh shit. All right, all right. So we're back. Cool. Oh, that could have been a fucking shit show. Woo. And just fuck. I don't even remember what this guy was saying now because I had a mini panic. Fuck me.
And identity appropriate, particularly from that economic development standpoint, to establish an identity for this grand system of trails and paths that are growing and will continue to grow around our community. And so that was the reason we went into the subcommittee portion to address the possibilities of finding identifiable and marketable names for this resource, which broadly covers a great deal of what we can see from the windows here. And so we did work on that process, and I'm going to turn it over to Jonah and Shannon to take you through that process, and then we'll come back and identify.
I wish I could zoom in more. One. Where the fuck is one? Oh. Oh, that's the Ninja Path? Price Shop or Walmart? And this brings me all the way to Hanford. What? Bennington. Oh. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just do that by default? Like, what the fuck? Alright, so there's supposedly terrain. Supposedly Price Shop or Walmart. Let me bring this a bit closer. That's the Ninja Path. So this is all Ninja Path. Okay. So Ninja. Oh. Goes right by the water, so must have to must be power units here then with that kind of clearing going on. Da, da, da. Wait, what if I just typed in number 1 is the ninja path. Ninja path. Wow. That was great. Thank you for that. I was hoping to get the whole trail, but no, just a dot will do. So if this is Hannaford, there's supposedly some trail, but my sneaking... Oh, no, that's right behind it. So there must be some trail. That would be my suspicion, but fuck if that's true. Like it would go... You would come off somewhere around here, go this way, under the highway, up and over, but fuck if that's true. Bennington Rail Trail. Oh yeah, oh, I remember this one. This one, cuts, yeah, right here. This annoying little thing. Yeah. So here's something I find hilarious is like, can we even get to it? Nope, we can't even get to it. Hilarious. People are already using this. So the fact that they paved it is dumb. Because for the longest time, people were using it. So they could have just been like, yeah, it's an unmaintened trail, walk at your own risk. Which would have kept the aesthetic and the appeal of Vermont, which is rugged living. Or the peacefulness. But you can only get the peacefulness by making the bar of entry relatively high, so to speak. Not high in the sense of like prices, but like high in the sense of like tolerating minor things like an unpaved road. Because I know for a fact that you would come by, this is the courthouse over here, Deer Park, and you would come by here by the train tracks. You would just walk the train tracks because there was no clear way to get to Benmont without, like if you, let's say you came from the school, you could take the shortcut through here, and come out by the Deer Park. If you were trying to say, like, let's say get to like McDonald's, Walmart, anything like that, you would walk the same path, but you would walk on train tracks, which was nice. It was cool. You'd find critters, and now it's just like death. Nature can't reclaim a paved sidewalk. But, that's just nitpicking.
The fire conclusions for the Board of Selectmen. Our purpose here tonight, I'm sorry, that was an old term and an old slip. The Select Board.
Wait, what was the slip? I missed it.
Broadly covers a great deal of what we can see from the windows here. And so we did work on that process, and I'm going to turn it over to Jonah and Shannon to take you through that process, and then we'll come back and identify our conclusions for the Board of Selectmen. Our purpose here tonight, I'm sorry, that was an old term and an old slip. The Select Board.
God. Progressivism is cancer.
It's funny how lights and bells and whistles go off when you do something stupid like that. But they will...
Also known as walking on eggshells. You don't want to get canceled for saying the wrong thing. It's not select man, it's select board. Because, in today's world, we gotta be hyper progressive, hyper woke. But jokes aside, let's see what he has to say.
We're asking them tonight to approve the proposal that the Planning Commission will be making this evening. So I'll turn it to Shannon and Jonah.
Great. Thank you, Michael. So this is, what we're looking at here is a map of our pathway network, which the town developed in partnership with the Bennington County Regional Commission Transportation Planner, Mark Anders. And the Planning Commission and town staff realized that as our trails and paths are growing, and there are more, extensions planned and connections made, that we would benefit from a thoughtful approach to pathway naming. If you want to go to the next one. So some of the criteria around naming the pathways were to reflect cohesive themes centered around local places, local geography and historical sites, et cetera. Also to consider and target the users of the paths, including residents, visitors, cyclists, runners, walkers, commuters, et cetera. And I'll pass it to Jonah.
My primary role in this effort was for public outreach, and to that end, we had a number of articles in the Bennington Banner. We had a number of outreaches on our social media platforms, and we did a whole page sort of talking about the process that Mike described, as well as the criteria that we had in mind, and most importantly, an opportunity for the public to comment. And we were fortunate to have about 25 people provide comments to this process.
You want to talk about the
It's
recommendation?
me. Well, we did sort of change around, and so I got lost there a little bit, but I'm happy to do this.
Wow, these are all gay
We
names.
concluded that we had a broad system that we wanted to identify. We had very specific elements within that system that we wanted to identify and settle upon names that would be recognizable to the community. So the system that we were talking about.
There's no life in that.
It doesn't
Holy
include
shit.
certain.
There's literally no life in these names. Bennington Community Pathways. Wow, so original. Such a forgettable name. Walloomsac Valley Path. Wow, once again, forgettable. It's not gonna stick out. It's not. I think, what was his name? Fuck. Who's the guy that mentioned it? Oh, I can't remember who said it.
Mountain bike and hiking trails that are included in the area, but for this overall system, which does include trails and pathways going to the north and through downtown Bennington. And we, after much deliberation, we thought about the name Bennington Community Pathways to identify that system of, one, that's in Bennington, and two, it's a community asset, and three, they
Community.
are passed
I
to
love the subversion there. It's not a town asset, it's a community asset. It's not the towns, it's the communities. The county community, not the town community. Because I'm sure down the road, that's how it'll get played out. Is it'll be like, oh, this is for the county, not for the town specifically. That'll be the end goal when all the subversion is done.
community. And so we settled on that as our recommendation tonight regarding the entire system. We also have a north-south shared use path to Bennington College and possibly North Bennington, sort of within progress. And we know that the initial component of that is the rail trail that extends from the river, the Walloomsac River, north and arrives down on Northside Drive, and then the named section that continues on from that a lot of people are familiar with would be the Ninja Trail, which extends in a much more crude fashion, thanks to the hard work of a great many volunteers, down past Hannaford, and then is paved again to the site of where the new roundabout is going to be, which will certainly incorporate our need to get across 67 at that point.
Oh yeah, I forgot about, they want to put a roundabout, where is it? Let's see. Yeah, they want to put a roundabout here, which, to get to 67. Transit, no, that's not what I'm looking for. Huh. What? Huh. Interesting. Oh. Which, by the way, this, oh my god, that doesn't even show you how fucking retarded this design is. Cause like, look at the design. Yeah. So a car would come in here, come in here, and have to come in here. But you got cars parked here who could just come in this way. You got a car that could come from this way into here and pull a UE, come into here. So like, it's just all bad design. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? But it sounds like they want to put it right here. They want to, North Bennington Road. That's what I thought. So maybe it's not this one. It's this one? Oh wait, hold on. 67.
And eventually bring, thanks to the hard work of a great many volunteers, down past Hannaford, and then is paved again to the site of where the new roundabout is going to be, which will certainly incorporate our need to get across 67 at that point, and eventually bring you to the to the college pathway system, and that brings you directly in touch with North Bennington. And so we've called that, for geographical reasons, obvious identifiable reasons, the Walloomsac Valley Path, because that valley is our home. And it has a river running through it. Not to get too mushy with titles from rivers, from movies and such, but that's what it is. And we have a sense of place with that Walloomsac Valley Path name. The third are functional connections within this broad system. One is one that connects Kosher Drive and East Road, and we name that the Willow Park Path because it's in the vicinity of Willow Park, and there is a great deal of pedestrian traffic there along Kosher Drive that we've been for years trying to figure out how to solve. We now have a pedestrian pathway that takes you along that route and connects the schools and eventually up to Willow Park. And then the next piece, Orchard Village and Willowbrook and Molly Stark trails, and because of the Molly Stark presence and the history of that name, we've applied that to that section which connects those schools and eventually connects you with the possibility of going north towards Willow Park and beyond. So those four pieces, we think, establish identity for what is in place. But the really exciting part about this is that we have the momentum to move further. And part of that momentum, I've already mentioned, is that the Ninja Trail is in the town sites to bring that up to the level of the paved trails that were built around Walmart and that take you to that Ninja Trail element. And secondly, and this is really exciting, and it's not news, but studies were done in regards to, through the Bennington County Regional Commission, with regards to the old trolley line that connected Bennington with Massachusetts. And Massachusetts, particularly Williamstown, is beginning to build north, and we are beginning to have conversations about how we can take advantage of some of the improvements that have been made in that area and along the old trolley line. And particularly, I'm referencing the not to be built right-of-way for the 279 section that would go north and south from Bennington. But that gives us a sighting for a very good start on at least a functional pathway utilizing the trolley line and the old, the 279 right-of-way to begin to make that connection to Massachusetts. And there have been meetings going on with the Regional Commission and with representatives from Pownell, Massachusetts, to start to bring that to fruition. So we're really excited about this, and we hope that this idea of establishing identity, which will be followed by signs and wayfinding signs to make them available and useful to people, we hope that this will just be the start of the continuation of something really big for Bennington. And who am I turning back to?
Well, before you, I want to add one thing before.
Please.
I'm just going to add one thing before Shannon gets back in, which is that while the Walloomsac Valley Path really incorporates the names of a lot of other sections, there's one section that we are going to preserve, which is the downtown Riverwalk, or the Riverwalk portion. Because of it being the first and its unique relationship with downtown, we felt that it was important that that Riverwalk retain its identity as part of what is now the Walloomsac, potentially, the Walloomsac Valley Path. And I would note that in terms of public comment, the Walloomsac Valley Path, the Willow Park Path, and the Molly Stark Path were all by and far the favorites from the public input. It was much more challenging with the overall name for the system. There was no consensus on any of the name suggestions around that, and that was more of an example of the Pathway Committee taking all that input from public comment and brainstorming and coming up with that Bennington Community Pathways. And you can see that reflected. So again, when you think about the whole pathway network, that's that Bennington Community Pathways. And again, that was the hardest nut to crack in a way. Whereas the Willow Park pathway, or I'm sorry, the Molly Stark pathway, that was very obvious. Likewise, the Willow Park path was not really much argument. But again, the idea is that now this big long section, which has many names, all becomes the Walloomsac Valley Path. So.
Well, and I think Michael already covered this well to talk about just that these pathways are both, community development, but also have an economic impact because, as we know, trail systems are a great attraction. And the more that we can come up with a name and really brand that and get it out both on our town website, but also our town marketing site, Vermont Begins Here, that's part of our plan. And
Vermont begins here. Vermont begins here. History colleges cast world-class golf and acclaimed healthcare center, or acclaimed healthcare center, my bad. Mountains, museums, innovative industries, and a vibrant art scene. The view from the 306-foot-tall Bennington Stone Penis, built to commemorate the Patriot victory at the Battle of Bennington. A lively downtown. That's a lie. Home of Bennington Potters, and didn't they shut down? I could have swore Bennington Potters closed. So even this is outdated, funny enough. Built to commemorate, no, I already read that. And other one-of-a-kind enterprises. Funny enough. The classic New England villages of Old Bennington, home of Ethan Allen's Great Mountain Boys. Yeah, we don't really pay much homage to these people, sad as it is. Like, that's something I would love to see more focus on, is the history of the Great Mountain Boys. Like, we should be, like, taking inspiration from these motherfuckers. Like, these motherfuckers wouldn't tolerate any of the shit that's going on today. Probably. One-way traffic on bridges, please. Yeah. No offense to the people that like these bridges, I find them annoying. They're just outdated in the sense of, like, they're not big enough. They're a pain in the ass to repair cost-wise. I get the aesthetic appeal, but, like, from the functional perspective, I just think we could build something a lot better. Yep. That's sadly what we're advertised as. Fucking progressive. We're a progressive town where you can get all the rich folks to tell all the poor folks that they have privilege. Ugh. Granted, I'm being hyperbolic for the sake of a joke. Oh, really? They have an Instagram. Yeah. So clearly they can't advertise that well. 45 likes, like, granted my group's small, but, like, god damn, bro. If this is really, like, what they're considering to be good numbers, holy fuck, we're so screwed. 10 likes, holy shit. Hold on. I wonder where this hashtag's used as well. Wait, these are the top posts, but I want to see all posts. Excuse me. Yeah, so that's really what Bennington is advertised as. That we're a picturesque. We're not a place to live, we're a place to visit. Take your shitty art and then leave. That's how we're being featured. Because, I mean, like, who the hell is this to market to? I mean, like, even look at this one. If it will bloody load once again. God, that sounds gay. Bennington is very walkable. Bullshit. But yeah. I gotta save this. Oh. But nope. There we go. Things to do. What is there to do in Bennington? Last I checked, they were permanently closed, but I could be wrong. Yeah, 1920 to 1921. That's not our culture. That's old culture, or that's the new culture, because we've been around for 250 years. So. If I remember right, didn't this get turned into like an apartment complex? Or not an apartment complex, a like hotel kind of scenario? Yeah, group tours, yeah. But also, the name doesn't ring any bells. (1864). So what? About 100 years? Wait. 1776. Hold on. When did Vermont become a state? Now I'm fucking second guessing my shit. Oh my god. Can you just give me the fucking year? Holy internet. And here's the cons to the internet. 1791. So that was built 1864. 1864 minus 1791. 73 years. So, you know what? Fair enough. That's a little bit of time. It's been there for, what, 120 years? Something like that? Once again, Robert Frost. Who the fuck is Robert Frost? Who is Robert Frost? Poet. Frost drop clutch. Why is that so? It does. It's a private joke. First poet to read at the president. I don't care. 4 out of 6 of his children died. He received 4 Pulitzers for. Once again, who fucking cares? It's a poet. Tours, back road, discovery. So art, 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 history. We'll say history, but you know. Whatever. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, what? I thought Robert Frost. Um. 18th century. So he lived his 63? So we're paying homage to a dude that lived in our town for 9 fucking years. You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to even say this is historic. Like, Robert Frost is like, only progressive poetry people are going to give 2 shits about him. Everybody else, like, if we had to put it into like a percentage perspective, 10%, if we're lucky, are going to give a shit about Robert Frost. The other 90% either don't know or don't care. So you know what? I'm gonna strike that. So right now we only have one historical thing, one history, you know, science or not science, but history. So 1, 2. Hemmings I'd have to look into, but like that's at least a bit better than fucking Robert Frost. Jesus. Once again, that's another niche thing, probably smaller than or just as small as Robert Frost, but Hemmings' cars being more beloved. I doubt that. So yeah, we only got like 1, 2, 3, 4 things that are like historical, but everything else is art shit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, that's like a 50-50. So we'll say 5 because the other one could be 5 as well. So 5, 6 because most of it seems like it's non-history. It's just poetry and art. So 6. Wait, what? Did I count wrong? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, we have more art shit than any other kind of entertainment. No wonder why Bennington is dying. It's because we are appealing to such a niche market, it's not worth it. Like anybody from a business sense would be like, oh, look at that, Gypsy Lane. You know what's even more funny? If I ever get back to that kind of, Gypsy Lane got to stay, even though that has, I mean, I don't give a fuck. You know, I think it was fine just to keep the names the way they are. But you know, Swallow Hill got fucked, but Gypsy Lane didn't, all because of these motherfuckers. And so yeah, once again, let's look at events.
Connect this
Just so annoying. Like, I'm just tired of the BS.
pathway system to other attractions such as the Henry Bridge and other covered bridges. Having that connection between Bennington College students to get downtown easily is also a goal that's been, you know, in the making for a long time. And then I'm also on that committee that Michael mentioned for the trolley line path. And that will also, you know, that's going to be a process, but we're starting it now. We have an enthusiastic committee of people from across the state lines. So that's an exciting project. And then I think we can just move on to our,
If I could interject.
sure, no, you go ahead.
The Better Bennington Corporation would run me out of town if Shannon hadn't bailed me out and got more specific about the Riverwalk. And we all know that the town, through a grant from the state of Vermont, it's a downtown transportation grant, which the town applied for and was successful, that has funded that first phase of the Walloomsac redevelopment with new lighting, new paving, and solving some drainage problems. And of course, the other thing that fits into this whole puzzle is the skateboard park. And that is going to be in direct connection to the Riverwalk and to points north and points south.
Oh, that reminds me. That just reminded me. Where is it? So, yep, right here. So they want to put the skate park in this parking lot. Somehow, some way, they want to put it there. But the homeless people live here. So they're going to have to do something about the homeless people, which ultimately means those homeless people are going to spread out into Bennington, causing more harm than good, in my opinion. So that's why I think this is a dumb idea, putting it in this parking lot, when it makes more sense when you just go to where the kids are actually at. So, for example, we have here the high school right around here. Follow this trail up, and where is it? Here's the middle school. And right here is the town's, our Willow Park. Look at all this wasted material. 2 fucking baseball fields. Which, by the way, we have more baseball fields if we go and look at, oh, right there we are, 2 more baseball fields. So it's not like we're starving, and 2 more baseball fields. So it's not like we're starving for baseball fields. Number 1. Ooh, I passed it. So we're not really starving for these baseball fields. This could have been turned into a skate park, or even this could have been turned into a skate park. But no, which would make sense because when you think about it, here's the Willow Park right next to the middle school. If I did like here to, oh my god, that's such a terrible color. They really are just like Mount Anthony Union Middle School. That is literally walking 12 minutes. Then if we do Mount Anthony High School, so it's a 12-minute walk. It's a 20-minute walk. So it's not that far away from where these kids get out of school. Now, if we were to take, if we were to flip this around, oops, and we were to make, where is it? I think it's right. Nope, that's not it. Cover, it's right here. So if we make this, no. That's a 16-minute walk. So it's slightly shorter to get to here. But once again, now I get it from an economic standpoint. They want to try to get people to shop at these overpriced restaurants. No offense to the places that own the business, but with the prices they charge, I can understand why they're trying to drum up business or try to drum up something like this here, so that way they could try to drum up businesses. But me personally, I think this is more for the tourist if they put it here, because then you could be like, oh, stay at this hotel and take your kids to the skate park, instead of building it for the people at where is it, the Willow Park. This is more, that would be more. Here's how you could tell if they're building it for tourists or for the citizens that live in Bennington, because it makes more sense to put the skate park at Willow Park. So yeah, I think it's just a terrible idea for the skate park.
Along the new rail trail. So my mea culpa to the Better Bennington Corporation. Go ahead.
So now we're just bringing it back to you, the Select Board, with the next steps, asking for a motion to adopt the recommendations of the Naming Committee and to request staff and Planning Commission to develop a wayfinding sign plan for the new pathway system.
Great. For the purposes of discussion?
Identity, which will be followed by signs and wayfinding signs to make them available and to.
Great. For the purposes of discussion, do we want to make that motion? Okay.
I'll make the motion, sorry, didn't have my mic on.
And I'd be glad to second the motion.
All right. Any thoughts about the names? I personally like them.
I have
Of course.
a couple of comments.
Of course she would like them. They're so boring and dull. No thought, just copy, paste, copy, paste. Fucking terrible names. No offense to the streets and towns with those names. I mean, that makes a little more sense. But, like, come the fuck on. Even the Ninja Path is slightly above the paths they recommended.
That I'd like
Yeah, I
to
do
make
too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So let me just start by saying congratulations to you guys. I heard Mike say that this was 25 years in the making, and there have been a number of projects of late that have taken that long. Thanks for the shout out to Tom Bluto. He was my father-in-law, for those of you who knew that. He's been gone for about 14 years, and it is extremely exciting for his family, I'm sure, to see this happening. I raised my kids on these pathways throughout town. These things have meant so much to so many people for so long, and for them to be actually coming together under their own identity is pretty huge for all of us. So thank you for that.
The cynic in me says that is bullshit. But the good faith in me says, he could be genuine. Who the fuck really knows? But, my instinct says it's bullshit. but I don't want to, be like, oh, well, let's not believe his family story. There's no way to really verify that. So, just food for thought.
I'm very much in favor and support of the work that you've done.
I was wondering, well, first of all, Jonah, I'm hoping you're going to include the map on your list of cheat sheets that you're creating for people that move to Bennington.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if when the weather breaks, as part of the public rollout and education of all this, we could have some town walks, maybe take a section at a time
Like
and
Eddie.
have people gather. And I've walked here creating for people that moved back. Have some town walks, maybe take a section at a time and have people gather. And I've walked most of these, but there are portions of these paths that I've never walked. So I was just going to throw that out there. I'd be happy to help organize it. Like I said, when the weather breaks, it'd be nice to get outside and do that.
I do, just to piggyback, Ed, I do want to say that Barbara Buto is a member of the Lusac River Walk group that organizes walks there every month, so it's a nice tribute. Anything else?
Just thanks for your hard work.
Any thoughts? Sure. Come on, Sam. Introduce yourself. Sam, come on to the little okay. All right. That was really proud.
Oh, see, earlier they were like, oh, it doesn't matter which one you use now, but I guess so that they don't have to stand aside. But once again, it's not like they are going to answer any of these questions, so does it really fucking matter?
I never get lost because everybody tells me where to go. Haha. No, I echo the statement of Mr. Woods, what he said about Tom Bluto. As you know, I grew up on the flats, and seeing this many, many years of what it was and now what has turned into, and the names, and it takes a lot of work to do this. So it ties the knot of our historical nature. And, this is what brings new people into town to embrace this. Thank you.
Wait, what was the last bit?
And, this is what brings new people into town.
No, this is not what brings. Well, technically it does, but does it bring the right people? Should be the question we ask. Does it bring the right people to town? Do we really want a bunch of rich people who don't care about our town and just want to use it as a second home so they can take their fancy pictures and extract the wealth out of our community? Do we really want those kinds of people?
To embrace this. Thank you.
And that was Sam Mostino from Bennington. Okay, anybody else?
Jeannie, I do have one announcement that I'd like to make. So the path, soon to be formally known as the Ninja Path, we have two bridges part of that pathway. Both of them were damaged recently. One of them has been replaced. The second one will be replaced within the next 3 weeks, so that entire Walloomsac Valley pathway or path will be accessible again, probably starting within a month. So we hope that people will take advantage of that and start using it again heavily. We know when those bridges went out, we heard from a lot of people that were sad to see them go, but they'll be back. One of them is already back, and the other one will be back in about a month.
All right, ready to vote? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope, okay, go ahead.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Wait, did he do the Jeb Bush thing?
Any abstentions? Nope, okay, go ahead.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did the Jeb Bush. Oh my god. Oh my god, he did the.
Please clap.
He did the please clap. Granted, I don't think he said please clap, but he definitely just listen.
Abstentions? Nope, okay, go ahead.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, he definitely. I couldn't make out what he said, but it was the same vibe as "Please Clap," same vibe.
Okay.
What was persistence about?
You all have seen the amendment in the packet, but I will summarize it. This amendment is virtually identical to the last amendment. It simply extends the date on which the town can terminate its lease agreement without penalty from June 30th of 2024 to September 30th of 2024. And this is simply to accommodate obtaining all the funding necessary to move the project forward. As you've heard, we did obtain another $1 million from Becca Ballant, which is greatly appreciated, and I understand that we're getting close to the next new market tax credits funding. So closer and closer to funding, but Hale Resources has negotiated an agreement with Chris Gilbert that the town endorses to extend that date for termination without penalty from June 30th, 2024 to September 30, 2024.
Great. Do we have a motion to this effect? It's not yet. Hang on one second.
A motion made for discussion purposes, please.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second to amend to the lease agreement to September 30th, 2024 for discussion.
Okay. Discussion from the select.
Wait, hold on. I missed the face because I was reading shit.
The lease agreement to
Yeah, she's like-
September 30th, 2024 for discussion.
Yeah, definitely. Like, she seems like a cunt. I mean, granted, I have like personal experience that would make me think that more, but outside of that, that facial expression was like, yeah, of general confusion. But like, if you pay attention to these other meetings, she's usually giving her some kind of look, and I forgot her name. I'm terrible with names, but nonetheless, still, the queen bee right there.
Okay. Discussion from the select board. Nope. Questions from, or comments from the audience? Yes, Nancy?
This is the entire contract.
Nancy, please,
agreement.
please introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry, Nancy White Bennington. I can't find anywhere in this entire contract and agreement where it says Chris Gilbert will be sending $400,000 to the Ben High. It should be. In September and October, the public was told, give them the senior building. Now, Stu said the money would go to the gym. The town website said it would go to the senior center section. Regardless, if it doesn't say in here that if he's going to pay the $400,000, I don't think it's going to happen. So I would urge you not to approve this. Have the lawyer put an amendment saying that he will pay the $400,000 and it will go to the town office so the public can be assured that for once he will meet his responsibilities. And second, Dan, can you clarify for the public, what is the total cost of the project? How much do you have in hand right now?
So the total cost of the project, including the Hale Resources portion?
The total project of the Ben High.
Okay, it's roughly, and Shannon, Jonah, correct me if I'm wrong, it's between 40 and 42 million at this time. The town's, as Jonah specifically stated earlier, the town's contribution is about, if you add in all of the components, about 2.9. So we're leveraging $42 million of investment in this community with $2.9 million.
Crock of shit right there. We ain't leveraging shit. Because if you think about it, we are literally relocating all the people. Close that. We are relocating all the people in this building. Wait, is it? No, that's Gage Street. There we go. We are relocating people out of this building, which is comparatively safer than if you go down to the other end, and this is where they want to put them. Wow, that's pretty old. What date is this? 2024, all right, whatever. Anyways, these properties right here are, well, these are businesses, but these properties around here are notorious, and it kind of extends to about like here because of the rehab programs and all the other bullshit on this. But this is like notorious for crime and drugs. So we're going to put a bunch of old people here. We're going to put Meals on Wheels and a bunch of other programs around here, putting them at risk of attack, all for the sake of the money. Now, I don't think it's money. I think it's, like I said earlier, it's a Marxist ideology. So it's not about the money. It's about the ideology that they're trying to push. And this is their way to subvert to that goal. You know, incrementalism at its best.
And how much do you have right now?
But the town has all of the 2.9
No,
million.
altogether for the project, if it's 42 million, how much do you have towards the 42
So,
million?
as we've mentioned many, many times, Hale Resources is responsible for the additional funding, so I can't give you an exact answer. I do know that last time we met, which was in January, Zach had mentioned he thought he was at 60%, and we're obviously much higher now, but I don't know where what the percentage is.
Okay, and as far as the contract and Mr. Gilbert and the $400,000,
What is your question?
if it doesn't say it in the contract, I don't think he's going to pay it.
This is not there's not a question of him paying. This is part of the acquisition price.
The public was told, give him the building, he will then send $400,000.
That has never been stated, Nancy, and that is inaccurate information.
All right. You know what? Fuck it. You know, as much as I hate the fucking, this retarded thing, because it's, oh, cool. Oh, they didn't even fucking give us much info. What the fuck? Jesus.
Dan, it
I'll
was
have to
on the
dedicate
town
a day
website
for
in
that.
September and October. And Stu brought it up, and I don't think he told me in the office. I don't know if it was in his Bennington Banner column or he said it here.
Nancy, it's inaccurate.
That's inaccurate
And
information.
what I would suggest you do is to sit down with Dan or Stu, and they can bring up the website, and they can go through, the information, then go
I
through
brought
the
up in the
funding stack
past that
again.
information that was
Nancy?
gone from the website.
Nancy,
Wait, say that again?
and they can bring up the website, and they can go through,
I brought
the
up-
information, then go
I
through
brought
the
up in
funding
the
stack
past
again.
that information that was
Nancy?
gone from the website.
Oh.
Nancy, that is inaccurate information. It's never
It's
been true.
100% accurate.
Thank you very much. Are we ready to vote?
So I would just ask that the motion include authorization for the manager or assistant manager to sign the amendment.
Yes, yes, yes. Can we amend it to say that?
Amending the motion that I made as Dan just suggested, like he said.
Second,
All right, good.
as they said.
All right, all right. All those
Telephone. Just copy what the other person said. You know, no.
in favor,
no,
please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No,
Any
obviously.
abstentions? All right,
Obviously.
the ayes
Thank you
have
very
it.
much.
Thank you. All right.
Now that was for the amendment. Okay.
Next up is street naming committee. This was the purpose of our executive session prior to the meeting. And what we did was both affirm the charge for the committee and also determine the slate. So what I'm going to do first is read the charge to the street naming committee. It has two charges. The committee shall research the history of Squaw Hill Road and Gypsy Lane areas for the purpose of placing historical rather than commemorative signage in both areas, and for the purpose of presenting at least two possible names for Squaw Hill Road. The names shall be submitted to the town manager by April 2nd and presented to the Select Board for consideration at a public meeting on April 8th, 2024. Names chosen, street names chosen, shall recognize any known history of the street or the area, shall not duplicate or nearly duplicate any other street or road names already in existence in Bennington to avoid 911 confusion, shall be of a reasonable length, and shall not be considered derogatory or humorous. All right, so that is the charge. And so in support of the charge, we offer the following slate for consideration. Bruce Lee Clark, Martha Mackey, and Scott Frost. Could I have a motion to accept this slate and charge? Nope, nope. Oh, are you withdrawn?
No, there's just one person that wanted to be on.
No, at this point, we already met
past
in
the deadline.
executive session, I'm sorry. But it doesn't mean that you can't talk with that person, but let us continue, okay? Hang on, Scott, hang on. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, now
They
discussion.
just love fucking people.
Scott, please come up. State your name and, yeah, go forward.
I'd just like to mention that Christine Lewis would like to be on the committee, and I don't think she realized she had to submit or tell you ahead of time, although I think she did discuss it with you at the last meeting.
No, she did not. And she did discuss that she was interested in having historical information done. So what I would suggest is anyone that is on the committee, we're actually going to send you forward you some information from interested individuals who did not want to be on the committee but offered to help. And Christine could certainly do that as well. Okay.
Yep. So just to be clear, these meetings will be open to the public, and anybody who wants to attend can. So if you want to make sure that she's aware of the meetings and attends, that's perfectly appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as always, individuals will get information about open meeting law and how it works being on a public board, even if it's only 3 weeks. Yes, Nancy, please come up.
Nancy White, are the people who live on the street being impacted, are they going to have a big say in the road? Because I think there's only a couple of houses.
So Nancy, they have already provided input, and we will forward that to the committee.
Oh, crock of shit. Because the input they gave you was to not fucking do it, and you told them to go fuck themselves. So what input are you fucking talking about?
Anyone else? All right, are we ready to vote?
Just quickly, I think we should thank everyone that did apply to be or express interest in being on this board. We do appreciate everyone for wanting to participate in government, and if you weren't chosen for this one, we're frequently looking for help on matters, so please do apply again.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, it's very important. Thank you. All right. So with that, all those in favor of the slate and charge, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, please say no. Those abstaining, please indicate.
Abstaining.
Okay. Thank you. Can you state the reason for your abstention?
I'm abstaining because I was not at the meeting,
Okay.
Okay.
and
Right.
I have some
Thank you.
conflicts of interest, and
Okay. Thank
I
you.
don't want to vote opposed.
You can hear, I'm going to turn this up, because you can hear Jeannie, whatever, whispering some shady shit. So, well, who knows if it's shady, but still.
Okay.
I'm abstaining because I was not at the meeting,
So sorry for people here.
Okay.
Okay.
and I have some
Thank you.
conflicts of interest, and
Okay. Thank
I
you.
don't want to vote opposed.
Oh, she said she was at the meeting.
Okay. Thank you. All right, great. So now.
She said, wait, if that's true, I should be able to prove that. When was the meeting for that bullshit? Review of oncoming ballot questions, the street name changed. So, 26. Videos. Wait. Motherfucker. 226. 226. That's what I'm looking for.
Boucher to tonight's Bennington Select Board meeting. Chairing this
Connor?
I'm Ed.
meeting, and just to introduce themselves.
Hey, everyone. Good evening. Sarah Perrin.
Ah, she was there. All right.
We're to the manager's report.
Already.
This is a record.
So, although I'm reading this report, it's actually from Stuart, who is in an undisclosed location at this time. But Stuart had put together some responses to some comments and questions that came up at the last meeting, just to make sure that we responded to folks. And I'm just going to read his responses. Scott David had, excuse me? Oh, geez, I'm sorry about that. Again, Stuart had prepared some responses to some folks who had asked some questions at the last meeting, and I'm reading those responses. Scott Davis asked about the green space associated with a skate park and its relationship to the adjacent parking lot. Stuart noticed that the designers are working to. Again, Stuart had prepared some responses to some folks who had asked some questions at the last meeting, and I'm reading those responses. Scott Davis asked about the green space associated with a skate park and its relationship to the adjacent parking lot. Stuart noticed that the designers are working to expand the green belt associated with the skate park to ensure preservation of trees there and increase the amount of green space that will be available. So thank you, Scott, for that comment. And we are working on making sure that that's addressed. Mr. Adams had asked about placing Purple Heart community signs in locations similar to the Appalachian Trail community signs. Stuart said he had approached Mr. Adams after the meeting to let him know that we would be looking at ways to place those signs in the community. I also know, is Jonah still here? Jonah, I think you met with Mr. Adams as well about the signs. Is that correct, Clark? Okay. So we are working on that and appreciate Mr. Adams' perseverance on that matter. Martha Mackey asked about the crosswalks, and it is actually came up again tonight. I think Mr. Estino mentioned it, and we do paint those crosswalks as quickly as we can in the spring. Unfortunately, weather often impedes our progress, but we do try to make sure that those get done as soon as possible in the springtime. There was also discussion about the winter parking ban notice and signage. Just as a reminder to everyone, the winter parking ban is between November 15 and now April 15 of each season. It's posted at the entrance of the community and highlighted every November before it takes effect in the newspaper as well as social media. Usually warnings are placed on vehicles when it first takes effect in November, and so the residents can find off-street parking for the winter months. So that's his response on the winter parking ban. Other than that, I don't have any additional.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. That was done by that Karen that wants to put up sound ticket machines.
Information to report.
Because if I remember right, she got a ticket because she wasn't smart enough to like research the place you're gonna live.
On the manager's report.
Thank you very much for doing that. Upcoming agendas, the only things I know about are the Bennington Career Month proclamation. Well, I think Lindsay Morse is coming to talk about that and accept it. And then we are very much hoping that the Hometown Hero banner program will be open.
That we hope to, and I think there's already been a meeting and general agreement on that, so I'm hoping that comes forward.
Yeah, I think we just need
the formal proposal. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody aware of anything else that's coming at the next meeting? Okay. All right. Other business?
No, it's not related to other business, but I'm sure my parents are probably watching me right now, and I visited them this weekend. It was my father's birthday, so if they are, happy birthday, Dad.
I'd like to thank Gary for his service on this board for the past number of years.
He's still got one more.
One more.
Hold on that one, hold on.
We're starting the celebration now.
As long as you brought us chocolate, you're off the hook. For those of you that pay very close attention, we received a thank you card from the Vermont Old Cemetery Association. The board authorized a $500 donation to thank them for helping repair the cemetery that had been vandalized. So I'm just going to read it really briefly. This is the picture. It's on the front. It's really lovely. He said, "I wish to take this opportunity to express my thanks to the Select Board for the generous donation to the Vermont Old Cemetery Association. As a nonprofit, we depend on donations to fund our grants to town program. Your $500 will be helpful in this endeavor. If Bennington needs assistance in its historical burial grounds in the future, please do not hesitate to contact us. Thanks again, Tom Griffin." So I just wanted to share that. It was very lovely of him to take the time to do that.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Well, that was fun. I'll have to pay a visit so I can quote them. Where is it? Public accommodation. I thought I heard something going off. Okay. But actually, hold on. I thought I had someone coming. What happened to him? Oh yeah, because it's been about an hour since I last messaged him. Funny. 10 minutes. All right. Can I shit post for 10 solid minutes? I don't really fucking know, but we'll make it work. Oh, excuse me. So, actually, you know what? While we're waiting for him, might as well go to home. I wonder if I close that, close that, close that, close that, close that. Please clap. I just want to make that clip so bad. Don't need that, don't need that. Probably. Nope. Alright, so, Wayback Machine. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Or right, apparently. Let's try this. Ooh, we got a lot of logging. Okay, so the first log was January 30th, 2023. Oh, you know what? Something I want to check real quick. Where is it? Boards and commissions? Where the fuck? Oh. Derp. Well, I guess I... Hale Resource. I wish I could remember when the exact test, the exact, oh, I'd have to go back. Oop. Can you pass this on to Nancy? This might help her out. Common Crawl. But, motherfucker. Ooh, this got snapshot at the most. So what happened here? Is that my ad blocker? uBlock. I forgot I had that. Good enough. Proposed agreement. Oh, I'm being redirected though. Oh, very interesting. So, senior. Oh my god. I want to say it's like senior center. But I know that's not right. Nope. See, folks, I can't spell to save my life. It's not center. Holy shit on a shingles. Senior center? No. You know what? I got a better idea that could help with this spelling atrocity of mine. Bennington, Vermont. Bam. Bam. Foreign wars. It's not like we've had any domestic in a while. Oh, I didn't know Meals on Wheels was right across, apparently. Senior Center. Google. Oh my god. Fuck this color, bro. About. Nope. That didn't fucking help a bit. Settings. Dark theme. Thank you. Holy shit. Senior Center. Oh, I saw it. There we go. I was way the fuck off. There we go. Oops. Oh, there we go. So, lease to the town comprised of. Access to shop spaces on north side of the new wing of the property from shop spaces on the northeast center to the old woodworking shop as more particularly depicted in the attached Schedule A. Such right of access shall be personal to leaser and shall continue until the date leaser acquires title to the senior center, previously in paragraph 2 below. So, before they could even give them the property, everybody had to be evicted. Funny how that is. So if there was any fines or anything on that building, he would essentially get it scot-free. You know, no back taxes, nothing like that. It would just be like, here you go. Oh, so she was right. Because if we had voted no, it would have terminated the agreement. So she was right that they did go back and change it again. Let's see what they did in December. A month ago. Oh, a month long. My bad. October 19th. Thought I saw something. Yeah, so we don't own this. We paid Hales Resources rent. Property taxes. Wait. Maybe I'm being retarded here, but property tax, lease or hold on. Maybe I am being retarded here. Hold on. Copy. What's the difference between so Hales Resources is the one issuing the lease. Okay. Property tax. Leaser and leasee. So Hales Resources and Town of Bennington agree that all Bennington real property taxes, whatever the fuck that means, if any, shall be paid by Bennington. So we are paying their taxes, if any. So they're not even having to pay taxes. Holy shit. That's fucked up. And this is why I wish I could actually go to some of these meetings, because you just read this shit and it's like, what the fuck? And this was captured in March 6th. March 6th, folks. It is currently March 15th right now. So not even a little over a week. 9 days after this was captured. Which, if we were to go look at the town's yeah, so they changed that after they realized that people might not want to do the. So, yeah, this is kind of weird because we just looked at, what was it? This is December 23rd. Paragraph 2. Shall be credited to the purchase price at a closing on the property asset. 12 through 23. Wow. What property are they talking about? Um, hmm. What to do? See, none of these look like the contract right now. Construction plans, Ben High project funding update, conceptual renderings of the facilities rooms at the Ben High facility, third amended lease agreement. That's this, which is not the whole fucking thing, because the whole thing is about 33 pages. Or if we even go back further, yeah, it's still 33 pages. This was October 23, March 26. See how that you can see? So fucked. It's gonna be even more hilarious when someone gets raped in that, well, I shouldn't say it's gonna be hilarious when someone gets raped. It's gonna be hilarious when, Sammy goes, I told you guys so. You kind of did it to yourselves by allowing this. Because I think it was Sammy who called it out a couple years back, with the unisex bathroom. But what I'm trying to find is this it? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now that we got that, so this is supposedly the most up-to-date. Alright, so, where is the second one? What the? Ah, I see now. I'm just being retarded. Wow, it's still even in there. So as it stands, House Resources and the town of Bennington agree that all Bennington real property taxes, if any, shall be paid by Bennington. That doesn't sound like money laundering. Is this gonna work? You.
Yo.
Oh my God! Let me.
Can you hear me?
Yes, but loud. Voice activity. All right, testing. Am I working?
Yeah, you're coming through.
All right.
You're coming through.
Cool,
Clear.
cool.
I was in the dev server, so we were having a chit chat.
Word. Well, I know how spicy dev server can get, so I would just like to let you know that we are still live. So, yeah. Like I'm streaming the research process for the select board and whatnot. Yeah. Right now I'm looking at for a lack of a better word, contract. I'm sure there's like a proper way to describe it, but contract is the word that comes to mind for me.
Right.
But yeah, I just got done maybe 20-ish minutes ago watching the last select board meeting, and oh crap, let me see if I can find it because I wanted to get your thought on it. Nope, not her, not him, not him. Alright. One second. Not trying to just fill the empty space. Oh, there we go. Alright. So I'm at roughly what I wanted to show you. Do that. Alright.
I'm trying to respec all my perks at the same time.
Oh, dope. For Fallout?
Yeah.
Nice.
I want to do a new build, but I don't want to restart my whole fucking game.
Yep, I've done stuff like that when I used to play like MapleStory and whatnot. Oh, cool. I don't even got the tab open, so you can't even see the reference that I'm thinking of. Alright, so let me know when you got the screen in your face.
It is in my face.
Alright, so this old man, I forget his name already, probably because I'm getting tired. He said something that reminded me of something. So, without spoiling too much, let me see if I can show you what I was talking about.
You all gonna stay around and applaud again when I'm finished?
What does that remind you? Think, this is all politics, so it's in the realm of politics.
So if he's making the joke, I assume that it's a Jeb Bush joke. But Pathway Systems naming proposal.
Yeah. So to give the context, the last agenda meeting was about some shitty solar arrays.
Yeah.
And
Shitty.
well, I think they're shitty just because like if you compare the cost to efficiency levels, you're better off going with nuclear than solar panels. So,
Yeah.
but I think like on it,
Nuclear is hella expensive.
what was that?
Nuclear is hella expensive.
Well, it depends. Like for example, if I go to Google, cheapest nuclear power plant. Which is the cheapest plant in the world? South Korea nuclear reactors are going to be the cheapest. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. Block cheapest nuclear power plant to build. Let's try that. What is the cheap? Nuclear plant's cheap to build. Really cheap to run. I know they're like pretty expensive, but it really depends on what size you build. Like, I wish I could remember the name of the plant because it had some weird numbers and letters, so it's hard to bring to my head. But it was like the size of 1% of my town, and it could provide enough power for twice the town's current consumption of electricity.
Yeah, and actually, there was something that I just read that's going to increase electricity consumption, but I forget what it was.
I mean, it doesn't help that we're trying to electrify everything we can, even if it doesn't need it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So the Jeb Bush thing you said is what my first thought was. Because of what he said. Yeah, definitely. Because the context was the solar arrays got shut down because a civilian kind of did a dripping of the tea, so to speak, where they just kind of laid out because they got sued by the company that was trying to build the solar arrays. So during deposition, they got told that they were going to do some shady shit. And so the select board, not trying to, go completely mask off, had to vote it down. And everybody in the room that actually cares about the town started clapping for that. Because they're like, finally, we've been telling you for years not to do it. And then, so he comes up. He's like, are you guys going to clap for me now when I'm all said and done? And, yeah. And here's the funny part. Here's the reaction to that.
Pretty cool. You all gonna stay around and applaud again when I'm finished? That'd be cool.
Now, I know the voices may not be exactly easy for you to pinpoint where it's coming from and from who. But what I can tell you is all the people you heard were government officials, essentially. From selectmen to commissioner boards and all government politics. That was the only group of people that laughed at that.
Right.
So he goes on, if I can find it again, because it's the ending as well that like really sold the whole Jeb Bush shit for me.
Go ahead. And to points north and points south along the new rail trail.
Do this mission too.
Do we,
Like
yeah, I do,
projects of it is, and so
for people who could portion do that.
I never.
OBS reconnection successful. Okay, so everything's back to being stable. Yep, everything looks good on that end.
Necessary to
Do we have a second? Please introduce.
400 on website said.
Oh, so this is the person I was talking about who won the current election. And this is the individual who's like at every meeting more anal than I am with the government and is a day walker.
What do you mean by day walker?
So you know how in manufacturing or factory work there's 3 shifts, first, second, and third?
Yeah.
First shift being the people who are awake during the day, sleep before it hits night.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I mean, they go to work at like 6, 7 in the morning, and they're passed out before 8 or 9 p.m., generally speaking.
Oh. Right, okay, yeah.
And then second shift is like the, I can never think of a good name for second shift, so I'm just going to skip that. And third shift is the night owls, or the night walkers. So a day walker is someone who's active during the day, and a night walker or a night owl is someone who's active during the night. So like you and I would be like night owls.
Night walk, yeah.
Yeah. But you would be the physical night walker, while I would just be the embodiment of a night walker.
Fucking poser.
Hey, I'm sorry. I turn ghost white in the night, so I can't tan too well. But oh yeah. Let me see if I can
That it would go
after
to
a
the
little
senior
buffering.
center, not to meet his,
Rick meets in all town as funding now, but
and it was on.
See, it's go
brought
through
up-
the thanks.
He said.
Extension. Our naming oracle, name shall be
And it- to Paris, you- and it was now
to the last about a month. Start that and
People in
What the fuck? Why can't
ties, and now echo Mr.
Thanks for your
these.
I know he does the same thing a second time. It's just trying to remember exactly when he said it.
The river got more specific about the Riverwalk, and going to be in direct connection to Better Bennington Corporation.
Recommendation system.
Okay,
I'll make the motion, sorry. Didn't know.
great. For the purposes of discussion, do we want to make that motion? Go ahead.
So, family, I'm sure to see this happening. We actually in favor.
I'm hoping you're going to include the map as part, and like I said, when the weather breaks.
just thanks for your hard.
Everybody tells me where to go. Haha. No, it's I echo the statement of turned into historic.
the path soon to be based, starting within a month. One of them is.
Oh, all right. I think I found it. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Did you hear that little no in the background?
Not really. It's
All right.
kind of hard to see.
Well, he's not on camera. It's something you got to listen to, so to speak. So if you want, I could turn the volume up. If that would help.
Yeah, sure. Actually.
All right. So it's going to be full blast, by the way.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
That little bit.
Keep going.
Well, that's it. He just goes like, no. You know, I'm assuming because you know we can't see it, but I'm going to bet he does the Jeb Bush thing, if I can pull that up, where he like has his hands out, going like, "Come on, guys, clap for me." Jeb Bush. Oops. Oh my God. If I can even spell. Jeb Bush, please clap.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Yeah, I could see him making that kind of disappointed pose when he said, nah. But, yeah, I do find that a bit funny that you thought the same, that it was Jeb Bush.
Yeah, very Jeb Bush-ish.
But, yeah, what sparked me to want to live stream this and look at it was they were making some shady remarks, like about like public meeting rules and public meeting laws and all that. That like why they have to sign why we have to sign our names and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I haven't really like shown how they're run. So let me just go look deeper into this. And I started like pulling up the public policy, public meeting laws, public accommodation, and just explaining how that is. Ooh, lots of warnings. That's not good. I just was trying to explain how that this is how they are breaking the rules that they claim to be following. and then I just started going down the rabbit hole of the rest of the meeting, which, if I remember right, is nope. That's a way back. That's a way back. Way back. Way back. Oh, this is the contract. Agenda minutes. Like, this particular meeting wasn't like too fancy. It was just oh, I didn't know it was a testimony. It didn't seem like a testimony when I was listening to it. But yeah, it was pretty much just the solar array, the pathway that they want to do in town, which actually this would be interesting from like an outsider's perspective. How do you feel about paved walkways versus natural walkways, where because people walk the trail, it makes the trail? Which one do you prefer?
Paved walkways?
Yeah.
Actually think that they're really good for biking and other wheeled things. It's not the worst. I actually don't mind it. You know, like I think paved walkways. If I had to choose, and I had the extra money to spare, I would probably go for a paved walkway.
Ah. So so it does attract the Flatlanders.
What are you talking about? You know.
Well,
it's just because it's.
The only reason I make that joke is mainly because, like, when I was growing up, what you would do is everybody would have boots because. What was that?
That's my phone. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. I just random noise. But yeah, I remember growing up where everybody pretty much had boots because, like, after school, you would just go to a forest and shoot the shit and make your own trails, and that's how a lot of trails would get made, is just by people constantly walking through them. And I think from a Vermont aesthetic, a Vermont perspective, and a Vermont culture, I think quote-unquote natural paths are the better choice than a paved path, because a paved path makes me feel like I'm living in like a city, like I'm getting closer and closer to that city title, versus where like a natural path is like more of that redneckish backdoor, you know, out in the sticks, living in the mountains, living with nature, not building over nature.
I can see where you're going with that.
But I definitely agree with you on the when it comes to like biking, it's definitely better to be on paved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, like I feel like I guess dirt is better for dogs and other walkable pets.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does get hot in the summer, but it's less muddy in the rain and stuff like that. So that's also a thing.
Yeah, but that's kind of like the Vermont thing. We love the mud season. I mean, hell, we literally the in between winter and spring is mud season, and the natives like it so much that we get trucks, cars, motorbikes, anything, just so we can drive through it.
Well, let me actually hit you with the hardest sell on paved walkways. Old people and those with disabilities.
So like people that would need like wheelchairs, I assume.
Wheelchairs, blind, you know, that just likes to walk and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not one to usually push, you know, like oh, you got to do something for the handicapped. But
yeah.
In this case.
But those are reasonable requests. It's not like you're asking someone to say their pronoun on the path. That, you know, that would be like an unreasonable request.
Yeah.
So yeah, let me try to see if I can tackle that. So for the elderly, there are well, first off, the paths that they want to do, like actually if I can pull up the yeah. So it's not like a great photo, but you can kind of see these little paths that they've built, kind of spaghettified.
Yeah.
So It is. Oh. And I still have to go through some of these just to see how good or bad they look, because it'll be interesting to see. But it's just one of those things that I don't have time for because I'm trying to juggle 20 other things. But nonetheless, a lot of these paths, like this one kind of makes sense, but like most old people take the bus. Even if you gave them paths, they still generally take the bus, or they'll walk within downtown. But they're definitely not going to walk from like downtown. Actually, I wonder how far that would be. Hold on, I'm going to look up a distance real quick. So if we do from here, I guess, actually, if we just make that the reference point, and we say from there to, let's say, Walmart, Bennington, that's a 50-minute walk. So I find it hard to believe an old person is going to walk 4.4 miles both ways. Bicycle, maybe, probably. But I would find it a bit hard to believe that someone in their 80s is going to walk that 4 miles while carrying groceries.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a little bit crazy.
Well,
but I would say if they had like a push cart, there you go.
Oh, like a shopping cart almost kind of thing?
Yeah.
Oh my god, with the walker attachment so they could just walk into the push cart?
Yeah.
Well, hey, we got a new business idea. Someone doesn't steal it.
Hey man, I'm planning on starting a business hopefully this summer, after the summer.
Dope. When I go on vacation, I'm gonna try to get a hold of a couple lawyers so I can start getting on work for my business.
Yeah.
But so to be good faith and hopefully provide fair criticism and solutions for the old people, there are some reasonable paths. So, like for example, I don't know if you can see it, but this second path that takes 53 minutes. There's already like a bridge here and a walkable path that brings you to Walmart. It's a little bit out of the way from the location I picked, but you already have the natural sidewalks and paths built. There would be no reason to add and waste more money to build these paths or maintain these paths and just let them to go back natural. To address the handicap, so like the ones that use wheelchairs and whatnot, I'd have to go looking for it, but I'm pretty certain, I'm like 75-80% certain that there are wheelchair modifications, which also would be an interesting business opportunity, considering most of our town is filled with old people. So this could be a thriving business for them for a while. But make a modification to the wheelchair, and I would even compromise and say that that's something the town should contribute to, maybe like 50-60% of the cost. Because I imagine there can't be a lot of people in wheelchairs that would go out and about. Usually, I gotta burp 1 second. Excuse me. It kind of goes back to the old person thing where they're usually getting rides or taking a bus or something of the sort. And then I could kind of understand like that path I mentioned earlier with the bridge and everything. It's not the most wheelchair friendly. Like I could see it working, but it would probably be a pain in the ass because of the slope you have to get to. But I still think it would be a reasonable cost effectiveness to just pay for the individuals who need that modification to still keep the aesthetic culture of Vermont. I'm sorry, I forgot what the third one was. It was old people, handicap, and what?
And yeah, Yeah, it was old people, handicap, and what was the third one too? Oh fuck, hold on.
It's all good.
I don't know. You know, I want to say also safety. You know, like those who you know, like women who run on paths and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're running through woods, you're probably gonna get raped anyway. So
Yeah, probably. Actually, our town's pretty safe for the most part, but
yeah, but it's majority white, which is fair. That is fair. If it's majority white, you know, no one ain't getting raped.
oh god, if you were white, I would be getting in so much trouble. But for the context of the people that are listening to this, he's black. That's why he can make statements like that. If I said that, I'd lose my job.
Oh, you're actually live streaming.
What did you think I meant earlier?
I thought you were just doing this like privately.
Nope. So all jokes were said and heard, and forever on the internet now. But
You got an audience?
I had one earlier, but then, like I said, my internet wanted to do an update, and so I got kicked and never got him back.
Rip. Okay, well.
Hey,
now-
but
now-
one's still better than none, so I really can't complain.
Yeah.
But
my statement is this out there too.
yep.
Man, I feel kind of like, I don't regret it. Fuck
Yeah,
it.
and neither do I. Personally, I don't regret it. I think those kind of jokes is what bonds people together instead of walking on eggshells. But
Wait,
I
but what if it's not a joke? What, you know, like, is your town majority white?
yes, I think we're like, well, if you think about it, all jokes have truths within them. Even if it's a small truth, there's still some truth to the joke. Just like stereotypes. Sure, a lot of them are negative, but they all hold a bit of truth within them.
Yes, that is absolutely true. I also just want to respect my character, but this is the hardest shit I've ever done. But go ahead.
So, to the joggers, I would still say the same scenarios. You know, not as the old people scenario, but as like my past where kids would have boots or like high shoes so they wouldn't get covered in too much mud.
Right.
And I would just say, yeah, it's like we're here to attract Vermonters. We don't want flatlanders. We don't want people who want to turn our state or our town into a bunch of cities. We want we want people who enjoy living with wildlife, who can cooperate with wildlife, and that means having to share space essentially with said wildlife. And I think that's where the natural path would be more appropriate, and for like people who are running, just be like, yeah, we'll flatten it, but that's the best you'll get out of the town.
Yeah.
Because that way it'll save cost long term.
I don't think it should be flattened if that was a an option you had to work with. But
Well, I think it would have to be relatively flat. Like, I don't think it would be like super flat, but I think it would be somewhat flat in the regards to help with people who have wheelchairs. I think that
they better fucking make their arms strong wheeling up hills.
There's actually one person who's got a really good wheelchair because we got like a steep incline in parts of our town, and I've seen that motherfucker just ride up that hill, slow as fuck, but still trucking along like nothing's going on. And
Is it motorized?
Yep.
It's a motorized scooter. It's not a wheelchair.
No, it's a wheelchair, but because this person has like no legs at all, if I remember right.
Yeah, but you got arms.
Yeah, but she doesn't pedal at all.
Oh, it's a woman.
Yeah, she just pushes the button forward, and that thing can get up hills if it wants to. But if I remember right, when I talked to her once, she said if it's below 40%, she can't go up hills. That's so
40%
battery. No, 40% battery life.
Oh.
Because it's if I remember right, it's an electric battery, and if it's like below 40%, it just doesn't have the same kind of torque to push her up over a hill.
Get her an anti-gravity battery and then raise her raise her torque limit up, put more power through it. Anti-grav batteries, they're super lightweight and they have more energy density.
Wait.
They're usually used for race cars.
Hold on, you're not fucking with me? That's a real thing?
Yeah, anti-gravity. I'm actually considering.
Oh, fucking shit. No way. I gotta... Anti-gravity...
It's a company. Battery. Yeah.
Oh, alright. So it's just like a lightweight battery.
Lightweight battery with more energy density.
Alright. I mean, yeah, it makes sense they're using lithium. That's pretty energy packed.
Yeah, until that shit lights on fire.
Yep. Which is hilarious because that's what, not the new select board, but the current select board, that's what they're trying to do in our town is put a lot of more EV chargers to try to, well, granted the state's trying to force people into EVs. I think they're trying to force everybody onto EV by 2030. But depending on how the politics go for the next 6 years, that could change in just a few years.
Well, I know that. Well, I heard rumor that Elon Musk and Trump talked about electric cars and battery electric and stuff like that. And I do see with a Trump presidency that the push for electric cars is going to go down. Although I do see them as the future.
I don't. Hold on. All right, fair enough.
Their motor reliability needs to go up, and batteries need to go from lithium to graphite.
I could see graphite. Yeah, I could see that.
Graphite batteries, super lightweight, more energy density, faster charge, less explosion risk.
Yep. You know what's even more funny is graphite's used in nuclear pellets.
Yeah, actually, I have heard about that.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's lightweight. It's almost as good as lead in absorbing radiation. The harmful radiation, I should say, because technically everything emits radiation, even yourself.
My radioactive cock.
Oh, if I was to try to get monetized, I'm never going to get monetized. But that was too good. I'm so glad I'm doing this for free.
Oh, yeah. You have the worst guess.
Oh, no. I think this is like the best guess because, it lets people see humans being humans and not acting like robots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like the vibe I get when I watch the select board meeting is I'm watching 7 people act like robots.
Vote for me and I'll give you legislation that allows you to hang your politicians.
I don't want to do hanging. I'd rather, if I was going to do something like that, like if you could prove without a shadow of a doubt that they did either something treasonous?
Treasonous?
Yeah. Fuck English. I can't talk. Or that they could prove without a shadow of a doubt of corruption. And I would be more for the guillotine.
Well, it would be in 3 stages. You would have to have someone that would come in, enact complete transparency.
Yeah.
And then make it to where that kind of transparency is unable to be taken off the table.
Actually, I was talking to someone from Pownell, and I was pitching the... What?
What place?
Pownell?
I don't even know where that is.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You're a Flatlander, so you don't know the town's names. So if you think of like Bennington as like the central place, and then you got a couple towns north, south, east, west.
Correct. Okay.
Pownell is south of Bennington.
Okay.
Like if I kept going south, I would get into Massachusetts. Yep. So does that kind of like paint a picture for you?
It makes everything a little bit more understandable.
All right. But so yeah, I was talking to this guy from Pownell, and he liked the idea, and he even said it that if he was in Bennington, he would lend me a vote. But the idea being like the politicians, so like our board members, select board members, town managers, they would all have to wear essentially what would be considered a body cam to all events that aren't live stream. Actually, I take that back. I think they should be wearing them at every event, so that way you can get multiple angles and you can really catch more.
Yes, public meetings, public events.
Yep.
Private events.
Yep.
You know,
Backdoor meetings, like
like
executive sessions and shit like that.
backdoor meetings. So we don't want to talk about that.
Well, technically, every state allows for what we would call backdoor meetings, but in my state, they call them executive sessions.
I was just making a play for homosexuality.
Oh God, I'm so gonna get canceled for that now. That actually reminds me of when I pointed it out, a drag show that was going on, because they said, I think I told you about it, where it's like they advertised to adults, but at the very end they said parentheses 13 plus.
Yeah, I got a drag show for them.
Yeah. I can only make so many jokes like that before it gets too bad.
I know, you're going to have the FBI knocking at your door.
Yep. Oh, speaking of which, did you hear how I forget which government agency in ours, but yeah, they apparently have been sending our tax money to Sweet Baby Inc. by proxy.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
That is the. I'm trying to remember. I've been drinking, so forgive me.
Fair enough. I mean, I've been medicating
Homeland
myself with my
Security.
tea.
Homeland Security was the entity that was giving money to Sweet Baby Inc.
Well, it wasn't directly to Sweet Baby Inc. It was through a proxy of a nonprofit organization.
Government's so useless.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Let's not fix our internet problem and give it to companies that help destroy gamers. Actually, maybe the Sweet Baby thing is probably a good thing, because you know what? It'll ruin video games hard enough for people to get out of their fucking basements and do something about it. Maybe this is a good idea.
Well, hold on. How well do you know Marxist strategy to gain power?
Yeah, subvert everything, take it over.
But
make
you're
it
you're missing the other part, agitation. And what's going to piss a gamer off than the ability to not be able to play video games?
not being able to put nude mods in their video games?
Exactly. So you're going to agitate a bunch of gamers, and then so once you got them agitated, now you can make laws around gaming that says you have to register your gaming account with your driver's ID or state ID or something. And so that anonymity that we have on the internet disappears a little bit more, and that's kind of how the Marxist strategy goes, is death by 1,000 cuts.
I'm actually not in a disagreement of that totally, because I don't want little kids playing my adult video games, okay?
You know what? I'll say this, because technically, if my parents didn't disregard those age ratings, I would have never played Monster Hunter and grew up with that franchise.
True. That is true.
So, I think I look at it like this way: if the parents buy the game, if the kid acts like a 5-year-old, then the parent failed in teaching them how to deal with adults.
So, so you're saying if the adults act like a 5-year-old?
No. So let's say you're playing like Call of Duty, and you just dome scope this kid 6 times to the point where he's crying, throwing a temper tantrum. That, to me, would mean the parent failed to do their job in educating their kid of what to expect online.
Oh yeah, that's very true.
Because
and that also gives me more reason to keep headshotting him.
Yeah, just to get the rage more. But for us, when we played games, we didn't have that kind of filter. So if we heard some shit, I'm sure you can remember the old Call of Duty days.
Well, I was already getting beat by my parents for winning at Mario Kart, so...
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, it is what it is.
How bad did you beat him though? First place every time?
I literally tried. Back when the shortcuts were really, really new, I was taking them all the time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And my parents hated it.
Let me guess, they would call you cheating and whatnot?
Well, yeah, then they would do it. You know, I made it my life's goal to, if I'm going to play any game, I'm going to do my best to win every time.
Mm. That would explain why you enjoyed playing Monster Hunter then.
Well, yeah. Well, I also enjoyed just the smoothness of Monster Hunter's gameplay. It's less wonky now. But
I was gonna say, if you thought the OG on PS2 was smooth, I want to know what crack you're smoking.
oh no, that shit was wonky as hell. It was wonky all the way up until United, Freedom Unite.
Oh, see, I never got to play like the game before World. The last Monster Hunter I got to play before the PS2 version was Monster Hunter Tri.
Tri was good.
Yeah, the water was kind of like hit and miss. Like, I would have like my weapon I would hunt on land, and then I'd have my weapon I'd hunt for underwater.
Right. Monster Hunter, I mean, like, it was still, like, peak. I hated the underwater sections, though, but I think they should come back. It made the game super realistic. But
Yep.
I will say that you should move on to your political.
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, this one wasn't really that eventful because all it really was, like I said, the Solar Field pathway renaming, which, or name recommended. Oh, yeah, you gotta see these. Tell me, as a Flatlander, these names you see in white, so like Bennington Community Pathways, Walloomsac, Valley Path, all these names in white, on a scale of 1 being I'm never fucking gonna go there and use that, and 10, I'm gonna go there every day because of how dope it sounds. The names you see in white, how would you rate them? And there's 4 names.
Okay, so the number 1, Bennington Community Pathways. That's not bad. I give that like a 6 out of 10. Walloomsac Valley Pathway. I can't even pronounce that word. I can barely pronounce that word. 2 out of 10. Willow Park. Willow Park's like basic, and Molly Stark. Change that to Arya Stark, and I'll go.
You know, honestly, I would probably be okay with that more than like Molly Stark. My question is, why did you rate Bennington Community Pathways a 6 out of 10? Why wasn't it like a 7 or a 5?
It's very straightforward, but it's boring. Okay, I like straightforward naming schemes. Unless I'm reading like me some manga, and then I like me the very esoteric, roundabout naming scheme. But they're getting the point across of where you are immediately. If you are in an emergency situation, you can say I'm on the Ben Community Pathway.
Well, so I got to add a bit of context because I forgot to mention. The Bennington Community Pathway is going to be the name for all the pathways, where like something like the Walloomsac Valley Path would be part of the pathway, and Willow Park would be a different part, and so like the Bennington.
Do they intersect?
Sort of. Yeah. So like this green, this red. These are all the bike paths that we currently have. And, like, I know it's a bitch to see, but, like...
I can read the names. Ninja Path.
Yep, these are the current trails we have, or in development at the very least. Which, by the way, I didn't even know about the Ninja Path. That's how, like, obscure I guess it is. Well, I mean, I drive, so I'm not going to use these paths, really.
Yeah, you got to have the mountain bike with the skills to ride the hills.
Oh, I could do that, and I probably would. if I wanted to bike, but like if I'm biking, that usually means I'm traveling to a destination, not riding the bike for the sake of riding a bike. So that's why a car makes more sense. Because I can drive there quicker than I could ride a bike there, no matter what the path is.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would assume that these pathways, people are using them for recreation and or working out, like, not getting from place to place, you know?
Hmm.
Although I do see that they path under highways.
Yeah, this path is under a highway. And let's see, where is this? Molly Stark?
Let me see what mods they got for Fallout 4.
Bennington, boom. So, there's a path here. Alright. Alright, so Molly Stark, it's a little bit further down, so. See, I wish they. Personally, I wish they would give these PDFs and all these images ahead of time so people can actually look at them.
Right. Nope, they want to make it as hard as possible.
Oh.
Enjoy.
I don't think. See, like, I'm torn. One half of me says they're doing it for nefarious purposes, but the other part of me thinks it's because it's like 60, 70 plus year old people. They could just be bad when it comes to the tech.
Could be, or brain dead.
Yeah, that too. I mean, that's technically a possibility. I don't think this is under a highway. I think this is just a crosswalk at this Y section. Oh no, I know where this is now. Oh my god, I'm being retarded.
Ooh, you said the R word.
Oh yeah. You know what? As someone who is given PPE and all that shit, I really don't care if someone wants to call people retarded. I think it's just like any other word. If you let it affect you, it's going to affect you, but they're either going to be joking, talking about something that isn't human, or genuinely insulting you. So 2 out of 3 aren't that bad.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. I'm sure I probably will piss off someone though. But yeah, this is the bike path they built, which it's more of a walking path than anything than an actual bike path. But you still have to. I feel like they could have done, because this is the highway, the main highway to get in and out of Vermont, and like. I wonder if the photos have been updated.
All right. Is there any cyclist path on that highway?
On this?
Yeah.
No.
All right. So cyclists do not ride in the street.
Yes and no. It really depends on the individual and where they're biking.
I am going to murder them.
Well, I look at it like this. If they're the cyclist that's got a motor and can keep up with cars, I really don't have an issue with them. Treat them like a motorcyclist and keep your eye out.
What's your speed limit?
In town, it could be any as slow as 25 or as high as 30. But usually when it gets to 30, you're just about to leave the town, so to speak.
Disappointed.
Yep. But I wish it was a little bit faster so I could get to destinations quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is like. Oh, they did put another one in. Good. But like, I could totally see, like, for example, cars are supposed to yield here before making the turn if there's like pedestrians.
Right.
But I think that's kind of retarded. I think if, like, if the lights are green for cars and your sign hasn't come up to cross, you should just wait. You shouldn't like break the rules. You know, like if the car hits you, it shouldn't be the driver's fault. It should be the cyclist's fault because they blatantly broke a rule.
Yeah.
But I know that rarely ever happens. It's usually the driver's fault. But let's see, what was the other one? Oh, the Ben High contract extension. They just they extended it so that the two new select board members could have an opportunity to weigh in on it, and I truly hope they are able to kill that project. I'm not going to sugarcoat that or hide it or anything of the sort. I hope that project fails so hardcore because it's like a straight. To me, it seems like a money scam, and it puts the town at risk of being in debt forever to a corporation. Or I shouldn't say in debt, but to have a lifetime subscription. And I don't think it's a family-owned business. I don't think we should be doing shit like that because that really puts into question the trust in our government if we're going to just make a family rich for life.
Yeah.
Let's see, go this way, go this way, go this way. But yeah, this is this big building right in front of us. They want to turn this into a senior center, a multi-purpose unit for the town in the sense of like a food program, another gymnasium, a bunch of other things that we technically already have. And to my understanding, we're not at full capacity. They would be nice additions, but we're not yet at full capacity. So, that's kind of like why. Well, that's one reason. The other reason is, like before you came, I was reading through some of the contract because someone or the woman that is going to be on the select board, Nancy White, she's been talking about how like the contract's been edited, I think like 3 or 4 times, and every time she tries to lay down the facts, they keep telling they keep gaslighting the people and saying, "Oh, you're lying. Oh, you're lying. Oh, you're lying." So I was trying to read through it, but then you showed up, so I was like, "All right, I'll put that on." I feel like I need to do a dedicated stream to just this contract because it's 33 pages and there's a lot of jumping around, I feel, just from the little bit of jumping I've had to do. Like, oh, here's something that I found interesting in reading this contract while I was waiting for you. Tell me if this makes sense. Property tax. Company and town agree that all Bennington real property taxes, if any, shall be paid by the town.
Wait, say that again?
So it's as they put it, a public-private partnership. That's the scam we're being sold. And in the most up-to-date contract, so they told us, so the website shows, it states, and I quote, property taxes I forget what the technical word is, but the 2 dots. But I'm swapping out leaser and leasee for the proper titles. So like it would be corporation and town of Bennington agree that all Bennington real property taxes, if any, shall be paid by the town of Bennington.
What? So taxes are basically just going to go into this project.
Yep. Or at the very least, he'll be able to pocket that, or not pocket it, but he'll be able to cut that off his budget because if the town of Bennington has to pay the taxes, that's more money freed up for him to make other investments, while we, the taxpayer, have to foot that bill. because I don't know how else you could read it any other way. Because it says, quote, leaser and leasee agree that all Bennington real property taxes, if any, shall be paid by leasee. And the leasee being the town of Bennington.
Yeah, it's pretty fucky.
Yep. That's why I always get agitated when they tell her to shut the fuck up. Because, like, I'll look into this shit and I can find, she wasn't talking about that specifically, but I can find random factoids like this that really questions the legitimacy of this contract. But yeah, they just extended that contract so that the two new people can have a chance to weigh in on it. The street naming, I think it's gay. Where was that?
Glad we think it's gay.
Cause so they wanted to change Gypsy Lane and Swall Hill or Swall Road. I forget what the technical was for it. But they want to change these names because I shit you not, some people will be offended by it. Not the people living on this street are offended by it, but someone will be offended by it.
And you know what? Fuck them.
Exactly. Now, here's the hypocrisy or the bias I see. Gypsy Lane, there's a performance art theater that does that's called the Gypsy Arts or Gypsy Theater, something like that. But it has Gypsy in the name. And they went to the meeting explaining their bullshit reason for why they shouldn't change the name. They played on the for a lack of a better phrase, the emotional heartstrings of them being like, oh, it's been our tradition, we use it in a positive light, blah, blah, blah. And so, since I know the current select board, 2 members are pretty diehard art enthusiasts, I think that's 2 people who had a bias for keeping the name at that point. But Swall Hill or Swall Road, whatever it was technically called, one of the family members came in because it's only owned by I think it's one family, but 2 or 3 houses on that road. And they were explaining how that they had that street name for 4 or 5 generations. Everybody lives on that street. And one of the other select board members said, I'm here to represent the people, so I'm going to vote no on the Gypsy Lane, but I'm going to fuck this other person that I'm supposedly to represent. I'm going to tell him and his generational family that, nah, you can't keep that name. And from my understanding, that family's going to be forced to pay for all the services to switch over his billing information, his shipping addresses, anything that he's going to have to change. Hell, even his driver license is going to need an update, so that's $50 right there.
Right.
And so this dude's going to get swamped in financial burden, all because they are progressives, and progressives always find the most bullshit thing and make a bigger deal out of it. And that night, they were just picking a bunch of people to be on the committee, and a couple names ring a bell. I didn't look too deep into it. I probably should, but a couple names ring a bell, and I think some of them are that same progressive type. But yeah, that's pretty much the nutshell for that. The manager's report is actually what got me to look into the contract, because they were talking about some of the Ben High financial aspects. So not too much. It was kind of a forgettable 15 minutes, I'd say, because it wasn't that long, and the most important thing was like looking back at the contract, and I even went to the Wayback Machine. I wish there was a way I could make a program to like auto scan and register it to the Wayback Machine.
There's actually a way you can scrape websites to actually do that.
Really? So you're
yeah,
telling
so-
me I could scrape my town's website every day and not have to be president?
Yes.
Motherfucker, we about to teach my town how to do this shit. How do we do it?
Well, I haven't done it in like a few years, but I used to scrape like websites to upload to other websites of content.
Nice.
Look,
I'll have to poke your brain on that aspect because I just noticed that it's 7 o'clock. So I am gonna have to wrap up pretty soon, but I still got a little bit of time to go, so I can stay a bit longer. But I just wanted to give you that kind of heads up. The other business, I think it was another thing, or my bad, the upcoming agenda. Yes, it is. All right, everything looks to be good. Can you still hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. You're fine.
All right. I just saw a lot of things going, so I was just making sure not everything wasn't dead. But yeah, as I was saying, a lot of people have made comments. Like someone called one of the board members Slick Eddie. That's interesting. I don't know what that reference is about. Maybe he's done something, or he's just slick with the ladies. Who the fuck knows?
I would assume they did something.
I mean, are we really, as civilians, gonna be so bad faith about our politicians that our first assumption is corrupted?
If they are not coming out of the gate with, I got the receipts, I'm gonna be 100% transparent, to where, if you were to even ask anything short of the most ridiculous question.
But let me ask you: do you live that lifestyle as well?
Fuck no, but I'm a private citizen.
Yeah, but why would you expect your... See, this is like the beef I have with like cops as well. They're just as human as you as I. So even no matter how good of a training you do, they're still going to make the same bullshit mistakes we all make. So why are we putting them on a pedestal to be better than us and then not and then act surprised when they think they are better than us?
Well, my argument to that would be, it is because they are public servants.
I agree. We should hold them to like some standard of like not being corrupt and all whatnot, but to pretend that by default they are corrupt. That's kind of like, what does that say about ourselves? Are we so corrupt that we would elect corrupt officials?
Well,
because as the saying goes, government is a reflection of its citizens.
And you are, I would say, correct on that. But my argument for that would be, what is my argument for that? Hold on. We don't elect corrupt officials. I would assume, and this is maybe a bad faith assumption, that most people elect politicians on unknown means. When you go to an election board, either if you go between election seasons, I would say you're more inclined to know what's going on in your city or in your town. But most people, when they hit the elections, season every 4 years, they're going to pick a side and go right down board.
Wait, you don't have town elections every year?
If we do, I don't notice.
Oh, fair enough. All right. my town does, so that's why I was a bit confused when you said every 4 years.
Yeah, but I mean, like most people vote every 4 years. You know, like that's when we have the largest crop of voters.
Yeah,
going about.
usually during presidential elections is where it gets higher, but there's always a percentage that votes, or at least I should say in my town, we have like as 2020 population of 20,000. I think we get like 1/4 to come out and vote every year. So like 25%. Because I want to say it's anywhere between 4,000 and 6,000 vote every year, but I can never remember specifics on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do not know how many people vote in our election, but the main point I'm trying to get across is that a lot of people just vote down board, and they don't mean to vote in a bad representative. It just happens, and people can hide their intentions.
That is
while
true.
trying to get elected and stuff like that. Like, if I were to go in and get elected, I would be totally honest in hiding my intentions for most of my campaign. And my campaign would literally be banking on, like full transparency and, like common, reasonable legislation and whatnot. But also, I would be hiding my intentions to not only propose legislation that is reasonable, but propose legislation that could get me and the lives of my, future competitors and other members at risk, which is transparency to the point of death. It would be a suicide campaign.
Yeah, but once you get elected, if you keep up, so for example, in my town, every year, just using the select board as an example, because I know there's other spots you can run for that have different years. Like I think one has 5 years and another has 6. So for the select board, every year there's 2 seats up for 3-year terms. So I feel like if you were to do something like that, it would be a lot harder to mask the intent of, as the saying goes, grabbing the bag and running. That's why I think what's the saying? Don't attribute malice where ignorance could be found.
Don't attribute to malice.
Oh, don't attribute malice what could be explained with ignorance.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And I think that's like the healthiest approach to politics I can think of.
And you got a point there, but I don't know. I just can't trust politicians that much, and so much so that I can't even trust myself. So I aspire to become one.
But I mean, all it really takes. I mean, if you look into historical politics, like Bill Clinton, Abe Lincoln, all these people, generally speaking, you start in local politics and build your way up. Granted, we're theoretically too old to make career politicians, but considering some of our average politician is like in their 70s, we might have a chance to be career politicians, theoretically. Well, I mean, goddamn, I think the oldest politician we have in the Fed is like 92.
Are you serious?
I think, isn't Nancy Pelosi like 90?
I don't fucking know, actually.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head either. But, yeah, I thought she was like in her 90s. I mean, she definitely looks like she's on death row. Like, I don't know if it's the alcohol or the drug she takes or how old she is, but she looks like she's ready to have like a stroke and just keel over any day.
Stress.
Probably. I mean, when you're doing a lot of insider trading, you know, that will do to you. You know, you can only take so much manipulation before it catches on to you physically.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. Honestly, that probably explain why I've been going, my hair is so white now.
Damn. Just getting white hair?
Oh, yeah.
Out of nowhere?
Well, it's not out of nowhere. It's been building up over the years. But, like, I'm almost at the point where I could pass for, like, a salt and pepper look. If I was to, like, cut my hair back.
Kind of jealous. But I don't want to look like, Samuel L. from that one movie where he has that crazed look and that bald spot.
Mm.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. But it's kind of weird being in, like, your 30s and getting, like, being already, like, salt and pepper almost. Like, I can only imagine in the next 20 years, I wonder if I'll have any of my brown hair left.
Probably. Actually, I don't know. I hear that things like Teach Henley and other really good hair care products grow the shit out of your hair. So you could actually try to fix it.
Oh, my hair grows fine. It's just the coloration.
Oh, the coloration. Oh,
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention, my bad.
Like, for example, my beard, if I pull it out underneath, you can see the white coming in, but from that to the front, it's like a mix. It's mainly brown, but every now and again you can find a ginger hairline in me, because it's like a solid orange strand coming out. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if I have like some Irish or something in me. But I'll never know, because I'm never going to do those 23andMe's.
Yeah, no.
I tell you what, when I first heard about them, I wanted to do them, but then I saw the price tag and I was like, nah. And then, like, 5 years later...
23andMe.
What?
How much is 23andMe?
I have no idea now. I just remember years later learning about how in their TOS they essentially and legally own the rights to your DNA. So I thought that was like, good reason not to do that now.
That is nutty.
Yep.
What are they thinking?
Well, I imagine it's more for like lab experiments. I think that's the good faith approach. But if I wanted to be bad faith, it's so they can clone you and replace humanity with obedient servants.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But that's like going tinfoil hat on it.
You gotta be tinfoil these days.
True.
You gotta be a little crazy.
But yeah, no. I'm a bit surprised that you don't know how often your elections are. When's the last time you looked into it?
I actually haven't looked into it anytime recently, and that is bad on my behalf.
Yeah, because if I remember right, this year is primary season. So I don't want you to dox yourself, because that's my religious belief, is privacy and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to give me your town, but could I at least get your state?
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah.
Primary.
I'm not afraid to give that up.
Hide. Military deadline to register. Are you registered to vote already or no?
Yeah, I'm registered to vote.
All right. So you missed early day. Ooh, you're very close. Election day is exactly 4 days from now, March 19th. And it's open from, well, you would have to look up your town to be more specific, but on the state website, it's open from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Okay, nice.
Yep. And let's see. That's interesting. You have a deadline to register to vote. Like in my state, you technically could go to on voting day and register to vote and then get a ballot to vote.
Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about that because it kind of slows down the process, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's why I don't really like it.
But I think someone who's getting new to it and just heard about it today, that's why I think it's applicable. I think it shouldn't be like boasted about, but it should be like something that's kept in the background that only like a minority of people are ever going to really know. But someone who like just heard about there being a voting day and he's like, oh, I didn't even get to register. At least they have that little bit of safety net to catch their ass.
True.
But let's see, February, nope, nothing. March. Well, you missed the absentee ballot turn-in. Oh. So today, technically, in about 10 minutes, you could go vote. Because it's early in-person voting hours for February and March. And March 13th through 15th is 7 a.m. or 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
You know, I should go vote.
You know what? I'm going to keep you here for 9 minutes, so you have to go vote now.
No, I can't. I take sleep aid, and so I will fall asleep on the road if I went now.
Ah, fair enough. What do you take, like Menatoline?
No, where is it at? Diplohydromanatine? I can't say the word.
Fair enough, and I've never heard of it, so, you know, you could be bullshitting me, and I have no choice but to believe it.
I'm not, sir. I don't bullshit.
True.
Well, I wouldn't bullshit you.
I just want, it's a weird, I don't know if it's like something I picked up from my mother or something I developed myself, but it was like, my mom used to say a lot of medication names, and I'd be like, sure, if you want to call it that, just tell me what it's going to do, and I'll be good with that.
Like, it's going to get me high as fuck.
Some good days back then. But, yeah, technically, you could vote in, like, 8 minutes. Oh, that's dope. You can even vote on the weekends? Motherfucker.
Yeah,
Ohio's sounding better by relatively better by comparison. Because we just have the one day to vote.
We still got a drug problem. Heavy.
True, but I mean, like, I think that's really just the mistake of, what was it, Nixon? Was he the one that started the war on drugs?
No, that was Bush. Bush did the war on drugs, I believe.
No. It was it started in the hippie era.
Oh. Then maybe Nixon.
Yeah, see, I can't remember if it was Nixon or Reagan. Anyways, it's not important. I think that fuck up plus Marxism infecting our country around the same time was the whammy that gave us the drug problem. Because if you, I think it was, it's not Venezuela. Is it Amsterdam? Maybe.
Amsterdam.
Yeah, the place that's got a red line district where you could do any drug, not legally, but it's decriminalized, so it's kind of like semi-legal.
Yeah, that's Amsterdam. I just called it Hamsterdam because it's funny.
Oh, fair enough. I remember seeing the movie and I was like, dude, that would be a nice place to, you know, see what drugs you really want to enjoy. And I think, honestly, I think that would solve a lot of problems with the whole drug problem. Because what you could do is you create a tax system for every type of drug. So like drugs that are really addictive, really hard to quit, you have a 70% of that revenue of taxes goes to rehab versus something like, we'll say like caffeine or marijuana. Has a high addiction, but low social problems compared to like heroin or crack.
Right.
So something like caffeine, coffee, and marijuana, you'd be like, we'll throw 30% to rehab. The other 70% we'll use to, help repair the infrastructure for those businesses and other things that would help benefit the town, state, and federal government. Because I would want to do it on all three systems. And so, like, if a town didn't want to do it at all, they could have every right to if the townspeople wanted it. And they could be technically a dry town and have, like, nothing, no alcohol or anything. Or they could be like Amsterdam, where it's like, hey, Vegas plus, baby.
Well, I think if you're gonna, go about that route, you should legalize things that are probably, in my opinion, less harmful. So, what would be things like that, like prostitution? Less harmful.
Well, that's why I called it the red light district, because that's what it would essentially be for. Is for shrooms, prostitutes, kink play, everything that's considered like common knowledge of degeneracy. That would be the red light district. That's where you go, like, you're doing something that's a social taboo, but you don't care because, that's the liberal way. Is like, if you want to, I think I've sent that photo to you before. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh no, that hard drive's fucked right now.
Oh, what happened to it?
I don't know yet. It just like reformatted itself or something.
Oh, damn.
And I don't know if I actually lost all the information or if I can actually like recover it.
Yeah, you want to use a recovery program. It should be recoverable as long as it hasn't been overwritten.
Yeah, and that's what the IT guy I was talking to at work was suggesting as well. So that's why I just shut the power source off to it, and I was like, all right, when I get some time, I'll tackle that. Because hopefully, wow, I can't find the photo at all. I'm sure you've seen it on Short Fat Otaku, where he has like the dude who's getting. Oh, I know where I could find it actually. Boom. Recent media photos. There we go. Yeah. But I'm sure you've seen it where oh, here it is. This is the liberal utopia, technically, if you think about it.
Oh yeah, no, I have seen that video, and I think I know which picture you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, I got it up right now.
Oh yeah, the auto masturbator heroin.
But I mean, like, technically, there's nothing wrong with this because it's all consensual. But we know as a society that this isn't good for us long term. So it's considered a social taboo. And that's why I think something like this would be perfect for like a red line district. For the people who just want to end their lives in style, there you go. Everybody wins. They get to kill themselves how they want. Or in Minecraft at least. And the people around get to benefit from the tax revenue.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if people are, it won't be a process that would end up being able to be sustainable long term.
Well, yeah, but I feel like no matter how, it's kind of like the war on drugs, the war on crime. You'll never get it to 0%. So you got to ask yourself, what's an acceptable percentage for you?
What do you mean by successful percentage of society?
Yeah, so let's say out of 100%, 5% of those people are heroin addicts. Is that a good enough society for you?
No. Not in my opinion.
All right. So, with that being said, you do understand that you'll never get it to 0, right?
I'll never get it to 0?
Yeah, it'll never get to 0%.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
All right. So, if it's got to be lower than 5, what's your acceptable percentage?
Lower than 5%?
Yeah, but like if I pressed you for a specific number, like for me, my acceptable would be like all drugs lumped together would be like 15-20%, because that accounts for like alcoholics, smokers, you know, it covers the whole gambit.
I would like 2% at best.
Really? Holy shit.
Yeah, because, like...
That's going to be a lot of dry towns.
Well, it's not that it should be dry. It should be... It should be to a point where it's not a hindrance on society. So, let's take Asia. I'm a big Japan simp. You know that and stuff.
Sam, I enjoy their culture as well.
But like here in America, we have like what a 48% obesity rate. People are huge. They are huge.
But you gotta also remember. You know what? Never mind, because I'm sure that'll derail us. I don't want to hear your point, so I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. So we have a huge obesity rate. Obesity causes health issues.
Agreed.
Health issues make insurance companies raise their prices, and people die sooner. Over in Asia, they have a 2%, maybe 3 to 4% obesity rate. It is not common.
Well, yeah, but they're also like tinier by comparison. They don't have as much urban sprawl as we do.
Well, they don't. Yeah, they don't have as much urban sprawl because, like... Actually, no, they have more urban sprawl than we do.
Not really. Most of it is transported by trains, and
yeah, it's so urban. Trains aren't in whatchamacallit areas, sparse areas with sparse density. They have trains out there that go out there, but you're still walking like at least 20 to 45 minutes to get home if you live in a rural area.
yeah, but most of the urban areas is like comparable to like our cities. Like if you were to compare like their urban to their rural, that would be like comparing our cities to our towns and rurals. You know, so like a lot of people do a lot of walking, as you say, but I think something that would distinguish us from Japan is not only the size of the countries, but the just the culture in and of itself. Because like we're pretty liberal, so it's kind of like anybody do whatever the fuck they want as long as it doesn't fuck with others. But I see what you're saying on how by them being too obese that they are fucking with our health insurance because they're jacking up the price by proxy.
Yeah, so in the same sense, like if you have a high drug rate usage statistic, I mean, like, these people are, in my opinion, these people are ruining their lives. Maybe not with weed. Maybe even not with a little bit of cocaine usage on the weekend once every 3 to 4 months. But we're talking like our daily users of like meth, heroin, crack, heavy drinking.
I've met some pretty good functioning alcoholics to make a joke out of this.
Yeah, but have you ever met a functioning crack user?
I've met a functioning heroin addict.
That's rare.
It is. This
That's
motherfucker was amazing on his drug. Sobered up, he was the worst worker to have. Like, we would have a cutting machine, which is the worst thing to put a junkie on. But this motherfucker, he takes his heroin on break. You don't say nothing, and you're up 20% quota.
Man is crazy off the drug.
Yep. But I mean,
But, okay,
we didn't really mind. I mean, everybody had their own drug of choice at the time. But
you know, like people like him they're a rare specimen. You know,
so
I'm not.
I think talking about this reminded me of an experiment. So we'll use Yellowstone because I can't think of the exact park that they did the experiment in. But an issue that was going on was a lot of people were littering, disturbing the wildlife and everything, and they were trying to figure out ways to curb this. You know, they knew obviously they could never get it to 0%, so they were trying to think of ways to lower that percentage as much as they could. And the first experiment they did was they put a sign out with a bunch of people, a photo with a bunch of people saying, "Don't scratch this bark" or "Don't take this plant." And what ended up happening is more people than what they were expecting took that plant or scratched that bark. And then, so when they realized that failed, they tried a different experiment where instead of having multiple people in one photo, they had one person, and they kind of made it look like that person was being scolded. And they said, you know, please don't take any plants, don't scratch the trees or anything like that. And they saw if I remember, a noticeable decrease, but it was only by like 6% kind of scenario. So not much, but noticeable. And I think that's a similar approach we could take with like drugs, prostitution, and similar things of that nature, where we could be like, hey, if you really want to go do it, that's where you got to go. But hey, just remember, you're being retarded, bro. Like, if you want to shoot yourself up, sure, you can go be retarded, but go be retarded over there. Keep it away from us. We don't want that shit. And I think it plays into our evolution, like how we evolved to be a social species.
Right.
So I think that would be the solution you're looking for when it comes to like obesity, drugs, and shit of that nature. At least that's what I would try to do to reduce the issue. But I don't know how you'd get it to 2%. I'll be real. I can't think of anything to do or anything to make that work other than be like a tyrannical government.
Well, yeah, and I don't want to be a tyrannical government. You know, like I would like everything to be as libertarian and as constitutionalist as possible. But you know, like it's just drug usage. For me, I see it as one of, at least in the in society, with people within a country, I see that as the most dangerous potential. I mean, like, okay, you got mental health and stuff like that, but I mean, like, with bad mental health and heavy drug usage, you know, the idea of shooting up a place becomes far more closer to that person than ever. Or, you know, like, it just makes people's thinking go crazy.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. That's probably why I took the 15 to 20% approach, because that is like the lesser of two evils. Because if you go too liberal, you'll probably get like 80% people smoking weed every day.
And I would say maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't hang out with drug users. Like I if you're using anything heavier than weed, I avoid the shit out of you.
I as I've gotten older, I agree with that mentality, and that's why I would go back to that experiment I talked about in the forest. If we create the social taboo, but still keep the liberal perspective of, hey, you want to shoot heroin, you know, go right ahead. I think that's the, to make a joke out of it, that's the fence-sitter approach. It pisses off both sides, and nobody's truly happy about it. Because the heroin guy wants to get praised for doing heroin. And the people that don't want people doing heroin don't even want to let them get near it. So it's like nobody's happy in the end, but everybody gets what they ideally want.
Right.
That's why, man, we got to bring back centrism. Got to make it popular. Find some new fancy way to describe it. Rebrand, as they say. Well, I mean, the more I talk with people, the more it seems like people are naturally centrist anyways. It's just politicians have figured out how to manipulate people to vote one way or another.
Yeah, and you know, you got to be wise to manipulation. At least that's how I feel about a lot of people. You got to be wise.
Yep. That's why, in my opinion, I don't think I'll ever get that far. But I think to pass high school, students would have to be able to fully articulate the book, The 48 Laws of Power.
Nah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Right there.
But, you know, take it to the extreme, they would have to recite Friedrich Nietzsche as well. Just so you can throw a little bit of nihilism into the recipe.
I think nihilism will come natural through situation.
Honestly, you know how we're told we're in a postmodernist world?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I like fully believe that. I feel like I have to look more into that, because the more I read and learn about history from like the last 100 years or so with like Marxism and all that, the more I keep learning out that like it seems like we went to Marxism, relatively speaking, because we were dealing with nihilism at the same time. Because if I remember right, Friedrich Nietzsche and Karl Marx wrote not too far apart. I think within a 50-year time frame. Yeah. And it's just something I haven't thought too deep into it. Like, this is like really pulling too many rabbits out of my ass to, you know, make this a leap in logic. So like take it with the biggest pinch of salt. But that's just something I've thought about, you know, relatively. Is like, instead of us living in a post modernist world, we're living in a post nihilist world, where liberalism gave us everything we ever wanted, but at the same time, it helped us kill God. But like I said, that's something that's just like popped in my head every now and again. Nothing I've looked too balls deep into. It's kind of like, there seems to be kind of like a pattern going on here, but nothing conclusive, I would say. Yeah.
Just,
Oops, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's just something that's pondered my brain.
Right.
That's why I said you go ahead, because I was just gonna reiterate what I already said a minute ago.
No, my brain's it is frying out. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Same.
But
I definitely would agree with that statement. But before I call this stream, and I want to leave on this note. While I do think we live in a post-nihilist world, I think the solution to that is to have a culture in a society of liberal conservatism, where liberalism is the foundation and conservatism is what binds the public.
yeah, no, I could definitely see that one.
Yeah, because like
But what do you mean by bind though?
Bind in the sense of like unity, or e pluribus unum. Right? Is that what that means, if I remember? Hold on, I gotta look this up. Let me grab a coin real quick so I can spell it right. In God we trust. That's not what I'm looking for. E Yeah, out of many, one. And that's where I think the conservatism would bring that. Because technically, when you think about it, we're like a Christian Catholic nation by default.
Yeah.
And so we already have the religious aspect, but technically being a new country, it didn't really bind us because that was one of the reasons we left in the first place, was because too much of that binding. So we, being as old as we are now, it wouldn't be that hard to bind to the culture of what it means to be American, which means to be liberal, but to also work together. Because liberalism is individuality and unity is being a group. So it's out of the group is binded together to make the unity stronger. But the individual as a culture is what keeps the free spirit moving.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like a nice way to bring us out of this nihilistic, the dark pill, without resorting to like communism.
Not homosexual gay as communism.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't even get that lucky. I mean, that would be who is it? Joseph Stalin who said that? That was like the useful idiot. I can't remember if it was Stalin, Mao, or I forgot who the other USSR leader was. Fuck me. Yep, I'm getting way too tired. So let me just end this stream. Everybody who's listening to this, have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, I'll probably. I mean, I'm gonna work out tomorrow first, so I probably won't be on until like 1, I would say, maybe 12 or 1. All right, so yeah, if you want to join me tomorrow, we could do a deep dive into that contract and go down the philosophy rabbit hole. But yeah, everybody, you have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Good night, everybody.